Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel dedicated to everything technical related to the Velocloud SD-WAN solution. So hopefully you've seen my last video about why should you use a 510 as kind of like your home appliance. I had quite a lot of good feedback on it, so this session is a follow-up because first of all, I want to show you my rubbish drawing skills um, so you can better understand how Velocloud will work with your underlying network in order to ensure your business critical applications perform as they should. And secondly, I'm going to go inside the orchestrator and show you what comes on by default, what reporting you can see, and what few things you have to possibly tweak. So I quickly drew a typical broadband network and just to show you what you should be expecting, not only inside your house here with loads of devices battling for the same resources, right? Because while you might be using your laptop to access your email, or you might be using your phone to use Skype, for example, I'm sure somebody else is streaming Netflix in 4K or you know, playing games, right? And the more of these home devices you have, the harder it will be for the ISP router to cope, right? It is not made to prioritize, it is not made to understand which devices are business critical and which not. So this is the first point of contention. Now, the ISP modem then leads into the cabinet, and the cabinet aggregates your connection together with most people in your neighborhood as well. So again, another possible point of contention when everybody is at home and trying to utilize the same resources, right? And the same happens here as well. So what I'm trying to show is that because everybody's stuck at home, we're now battling for a resource that might become scarce. So this is where the 510 comes in. Now, on this diagram, I have replaced the ISP router with it. And indeed, the 510 is capable to do that job also. However, for simplicity's sake, I'd recommend that, in a real life environment, you leave your ISP router as it is, uh, and then you just plug the 510 on its LAN ports, and then you use the 510's Wi-Fi to connect all your home devices. Now, because the 510 has the application recognition engine that allows us to recognize more than 3,000 apps, it is then able to do a smart quality of service while pushing data upstream. So here, at one of the major contention points, the 510 will be able to prioritize business critical applications instead of not so important ones. One of the nice features is that any Velocloud Edge comes pre-configured with quite a few quality of service rules that are applicable for most customers. So you might just have a look through it and decide that you're happy with what it is and, don't spend time editing them. Quality of service. Secondly, we mentioned this idea of gateways, right? So the 510 will automatically connect to a primary and a secondary gateway. I'm just gonna draw the primary here for simplicity's sake. Now the 510 will create an overlay tunnel to the gateway, and this will allow it to understand the quality of the underlying link. So when all your neighbors are starting to use the internet, the link degrades, and the Velocloud SD-WAN solution will then apply on-demand link remediation. So now throughput is increased and latency is decreased. And that's something great that you'll not be able to get with either your client VPN or your regular broadband router. Last but not least, broadband is prone to failure. Um, so it's always good to have that extra peace of mind. And this is where the 510 comes with an LTE version that will actually allow you to insert a SIM card in it and use a secondary circuit here in order to carry data. The beauty of it is that you decide when you want to use this circuit. Some people want to have it as standby only in case they pay a fee for every byte transferred. Some people want to have it in active for the business critical applications, but never to use it for example, Facebook traffic. It's it's up to you how you decide to utilize this link. So with this in mind, I'm gonna hop into the orchestrator and show you how things look like. So let me show you how my home setup looks like. So first of all, I logged into my orchestrator, I typed in my username and password, and then I can see my home edge here. It's all green, so it's operational. I see I have two uplinks that are currently live. And then if I click on the edge itself, I can get detailed information. The first thing I see is the link status. So these are my broadband link. I'm actually using power extenders from my upstairs study to reach the downstairs E router. And I also have a 4G backup. Now, for flexibility, I actually used one of my LTE routers upstream. So from the edges point of view, actually, it just looks like a normal upstream circuit. However, if you click on this small button here and you start pulling live information, you'll see there is a bit of a difference in, especially in latency, between a kind of wired broadband line and a 4G backhaul. And by the way, if you're wondering how these are measured, especially these, live measurements, it's because the edge is automatically connected to its nearest gateway, and that will facilitate these types of tests to be run. Again, I don't need to manually input how much the upstream and downstream speeds are of the circuit. The edge computes this in real time and makes sure that in case there are just too many packets, it will actually queue them rather than flood them on the interface for them to be dropped. We can also see some information on who's using the network and why they use it for. You can obviously go in more details here. You can see, for example, my laptop or my phone, my operating system, etc., the IP address. You can obviously even click in each of these to understand that I was, for example, just browsing lego.com a bit earlier. And from here also we can get a breakdown of the overall applications that have been used. And I see the past 12 hours, but the orchestrator allows me to go back in the last 2 weeks. So why is this important? Well, obviously, if you want to implement more stringent firewall rules or a better quality of service, you might be interested to understand exactly how people are using the internet service, and are they using it for what they are meant to be doing, or are they just streaming Netflix in 4K? So this will give you that visibility that's lacking in most broadband routers today. And yeah, it would then allow you to hop in the configure tab and do something about it. We also get this very nice representation on how Velocloud works its magic, the DMPO, to improve circuits on the fly. So as you can see here, uh, neither my broadband or my 4G are perfect for voice at any given time. However, because VeloCloud can actually use them both at the same time and can balance even packets rather than just sessions. This makes sure that I will be able to carry important business calls. Obviously, I can see some alerts here. If I customize any, um, I get a full event log, and I can even start generating reports, which is quite nice, an easy way to just get, for example, a weekly report of what's going on with a particular enterprise. And let's hop into the configure tabs. So this is where I guess the magic happens. So everything in VeloCloud is run via profiles, right? So it's just like a template. You set them up here. For example, you might have your branch profile, your work from home profile, your HQ data center profiles, etc. And this makes it quite easy to configure things in bulk, because once you set this profile up, you can then define important things for you, such as the segment. So you can have up to 16 VRF Lite type of segments. How do you want to authenticate? If you're doing any sort of radius authentication, very critical for home use in case you don't want third parties to, for example, tap into your Wi-Fi. Cloud VPN is where you can choose to enable connectivity between different branches, between certain branches and, for example, third-party sites via normal IPsec connection. Enable branch-to-branch VPN, including dynamic VPN. So this is where we enable the connectivity only for the duration of that particular session, rather than uh, keep it up and running all the time. And also routing protocols like OSPF and BGP. Obviously, as you can see here, different edges have different forms, multiple options when it comes to the uplinks, etc. So then you'll be able to select what type of edges you envision using this profile, and based on that, you'll be able to give detailed instructions on exactly how the interfaces should map out. Would they be routed interfaces or switched ones, for example? It's all done via this profile. In the profile, you also set this business policy. So as I mentioned before, this already comes pre-configured with the box. And this is great because it's already built to prioritize things such as business applications, business collaborations, and deprioritize things that are not particularly that important. It's up to you. You can use this, you can add things, you can delete them, you can just create it from scratch if you choose to do so. But it's all very, very easy. You click on it, and it's a simple match action type of scenario, right? So you match a certain category or a certain application. You can also obviously match the source and the destination. So you might want to, prioritize Skype for the corporate VLAN, but not for the guest VLAN sort of thing. And then here during the action phase, you can specify if you want to backhaul it. So this is where you can bring traffic back to your data center. If you want direct internet access, or if you want multipath. So most importantly, multipath means that for this traffic, we will send it to the gateway. So as we discussed previously, the advantage of that is that now we have an overlay circuit and we can start working around things such as delays and significant packet loss. And we also have a full-blown layer 7 application firewall, and this actually allows you to drop certain traffic that you don't deem to be necessary, right? So you just set up a new rule, you match the traffic, for example, a certain application. You might want to cut the Netflix for everybody or for for a certain device, and then you just click drop. Again, be very careful with this, especially in a home home environment, because it might lead to trouble. Now, obviously, each edge might need to behave differently. So in my case, for example, I have a certain IP addressing scheme that I just input on the edge directly here. And with this, I can also run a DHCP server. So this is the server that responds to any requests for IPs, and it will give IP addresses to, in my case, my laptop and my iPhone. We get an idea of the interfaces. So this is where you actually add your Wi-Fi SSID if you want to enable Wi-Fi on the box. You see the cellular interfaces here as well, because I'm using a 510 LTE. So how easy is that? Most of the things were already pre-configured, so I didn't really mess about with the business policies. I just created a profile, gave myself an IP address, made sure the ACP is enabled, kind of turn on the Wi-Fi, and I'm already having a usable home working solution. Thank you for watching.